What you need to do this job, you need a Phillips number 2 screwdriver, a set of wire strippers, a set of side cutters. If you want, you can use a power screwdriver instead of the regular screwdriver, and then 2 smaller sized wire nuts. We're going to replace the power cord on a Hoover WindTunnel model U5720-990. This procedure should be similar for model U5700 to model U5790. First thing we want to do is remove the dust cup and set it aside. Next, we want to remove the tool cover by opening up the tool cover and pulling slightly on the left side, and then remove the tool cover and set it aside. Next, we need to remove the 2 screws that hold the actual tool tray against the vacuum case. These 2 screws are located on the left and right side of the crevice tool. So there's a screw on the left and a screw on the right. We'll remove those screws and then set that aside as well. Remove the screws, use a number 2 Phillips screwdriver or a power screwdriver if you have one, and set those aside. Okay, so we've got 2 screws, set them aside with the dust cover. Those 2 screws off, we're going to rotate the unit around and remove the handle at the top of the vacuum. So at the bottom of the handle, or the top of the main part of the vacuum, there are 4 screws, 2 on the left and 2 on the right. Remove those 4 screws. Once the screws have been removed, you can slide the handle out away from the case, from the vacuum case, towards you. Slide it straight out, set it aside. We have 3 more screws to remove. 2 screws, one on the left side of the carry handle, one on the right side of the carry handle, and this 1 screw here on the left side to the left of the cord wrap. Once the screws have been loosened and basically free in there, all you got to do is tilt the unit back to remove the screws. For the 2 under the carry handle, they're somewhat long. Set these aside next to the handle. Remove the screw on the left hand side. It's a very small screw. Tilt the unit backwards again, retrieve that screw. Again, this screw is very small, the other ones are a little bit longer, so set that one aside as well. Now we're ready to remove the front of the cover, exposing the wiring, so we just want to rotate the unit around again. We're now ready to remove the front of the unit off. Grab the blue part of the tool tray here. That slides out, set that aside. And then for the tool accessories, you just lift up on the front and pull that down. And now you have the wiring exposed. Then we have the tool tray removed. Pull out the wires so they're exposed on the left hand side. And if your unit is like mine, the neutral wire and the wire nut is tight on the left hand side and you can't really pull it out any further. Because of that, there's no good reason to try to remove these wire nuts off here. What I would recommend doing is actually cut the power cord on the neutral, the white wire, and the power wire, the purple wire, right after the insulation on the power cord. Okay, so I'm ready to cut the wires, and as I said, I'm going to cut the white wire right next to the insulation on the power cord, and then I'm going to cut the purple wire right next to the insulation. So now I have this amount of wire on the purple to hook in my new connection, and same for the white, more than enough wire to connect the new power cord. Okay, so we are now ready to remove the power cord, but before we do remove the power cord, I want you to notice the way that this wire is connected. You want to make sure that when you reinstall the new power cord that it's installed exactly the same way that it was installed currently right now. If you forget how that cord is actually wrapped around these two posts, there's a little diagram on the right hand side here that shows how the wire comes in, goes below the bottom post, wraps around the top posts, and then back over the bottom posts. So just in case you do forget, how you actually do that is actually put in the plastic here on the right hand side. So now all I need to do is remove the old power cord. So all I got to do is unwrap it from the two posts, right? And then on the back, there's a little rubber grommet here that holds the cord. Just slide it out, pull the cord out, and then remove the grommet from the old power cord. Alright, and you want to save this because we're going to put it back on the new power cord. Okay, we're now ready to prepare the wires to connect the new power cord. So using a wire stripper, use the number 16 or AWG 16 gauge and pull off roughly probably about 5/8 or ½ inch, probably ½ inch is good enough, of the insulation on each one of the wires. And then again on the white wire as well. Once you got the wires off, then you just want to tighten them up, counterclockwise turn on them, get them ready for the wire nuts and connecting the new power cord. So what we're going to do is actually take two wire nuts, and then once we put the new power cord in, we're going to hook up the power cord to these two wires that we have stripped. Once you get the wires stripped, you want to tighten them up. Just turn the wire clockwise before we connect them with the wire nuts. So they'll be a little frayed, you know, a little spread out when you use the wire stripper. You just want to tighten them up a little bit, and you want to tighten them clockwise, so when you put the wire nut on, you're going to tighten the wire nut clockwise, and that will keep it from fraying. When we're ready to attach the new power cord to the vacuum cleaner, first thing we want to do is take the grommet that we took off from the old power cord and slide this in. After you did that, take the wire, fish it through the opening, and then pull it in from the other side and leave about 7 or 8 inches. So now we're ready to attach the wire to the old wires here within the unit. Okay, we're ready to route the new power cord around the two posts that are inside there. As you recall, I mentioned there's a diagram on the right hand side. It's actually embedded into the plastic to show you how you route the wires. Okay, once the wire has been routed around the posts, you'll actually run the wire into a slot that's located right here on the left side, and then another slot down below on the left hand side a little further. Once that's been done, we're now ready to reconnect the wires with the wire nuts. Start off by connecting the two white wires together using a wire nut. Twist these together in a clockwise fashion. Take your wire nut, screw that on until it's tight. Okay, that's white on white. and then you'll have a black load wire, and in my case the load wire is purple on the unit. Connect the purple and black wire together. Twist it together clockwise and then put your other wire nut on there. Okay, so now I have 2 wire nuts hooked up. You can just kind of squeeze those back down into the corner here. And that completes the connection of the new power cord. We're ready now to reassemble the case. Okay, we're ready to reassemble the front of the vacuum cleaner. Take your assembly tray, your accessory tray, slide it underneath the tabs, and then using the 2 screws that were provided to attach the accessory tray, screw those in. So they're nice and snug. Take your dust cup locking mechanism and slide it into the slot underneath. Turn the unit around. Take your 2 brass screws, slide those in. Hold the front of the unit, screw those in. Again, if you have a power screwdriver, you can use that as well. The problem with the power screwdrivers is you can't really feel how tight your tightens, and with the plastic, being that all this stuff is plastic, you could easily break one of the housings for the screws. Up to you though. And then the last screw on the bottom left here. Okay, so now the front is all connected again. The only thing we need to do now is to reattach the handle. Get ready for the handle. Take your handle, slide it back in the unit just like you took it out. Take the 4 screws that came along with that. Get those started with your fingers. In this case I'm using my power screwdriver. Tighten them up. Again, you might want to just tighten them up almost completely with the power screwdriver and then use a manual screwdriver, or just a regular screwdriver I should say, and just make sure that they're tight, which they are. And that's it. That completes the reinstallation of the power cord. I guess the last check is to make sure that it works. So I'll just hook it up and turn it on. Then we want to put the dust cover, put the toll cover back on place, and then hook that in there. That takes care of that. And the last thing to do is to put the dust cup in there and lock it up, and you're ready to go.